Welcome back to Collard Greens and Nerdy Things, your one stop shop for all things nerdy. I am King, and this is my great partner in crime, JC3. And today we're talking about one of Marvel's latest installments, The Thunderbolts. Asterisk. So let's just dive right in. Jay, what did you think of this movie?
Hey, yo, King. Uh, I thought that this movie was a pretty solid entry for the MCU. Uh, for me, it kind of established or reestablished some of that Marvel magic that we might have been missing for a little bit with some previous entries, like MCU movies. But this one I really enjoyed, mainly for the fact of instead of us seeing heroes who have never met each other and interacting for the first time. Instead of that, we're getting anti-heroes that are meeting each other for the first time that we've seen in previous projects, So it gave us that it gave me that feeling for that matter of like we've seen these characters in previous projects. We know who they are and we know their history. And now we're getting to see them interact and see if they can actually become a team, if they can get along, kind of similar to the first Avengers movie. So it kind of had that feel to it, but with a much darker tone because of the characters that we're dealing with and also the kind of sort of villain that they have to face, being Bob, who is also the Sentry, and the way and Bob's journey to becoming the Sentry is very complex, very unique because he has his times where he feels invincible, like the Sentry, but there's also those times where he can't help but let the void take him over and just wreak havoc everywhere. And that forces our anti-heroes to face the darkest parts of themselves in this movie. And I found that to be one of the most intriguing parts about all of this. Really good fun time, solid entry. There was a little bit of comedy in there, but at the right times. There was a lighter tone and a darker tone. And I feel like they covered both very well. We get to see Yelena again with the Red Guardian. I thought their dynamic was the best, in the whole movie, just the father daughter dynamic that they had. Uh, it was kind of a they were there for each other in like their most emotional moments, but there was also a sense of dad, please stop embarrassing me in front of my friends type feel. So that was very awesome to just see them interact and see their relationship grow. We get U.S. agent back, John Walker. He's just as arrogant and cocky as ever. We got Ghost, who's coming back in. We haven't seen her, I believe, since 2018's Ant-Man and the Wasp. So it's great to see her. We also have Taskmaster come back. Uh, I'm sure we have some thoughts on how they came back and how long they're back for. So it was great to see them. And of course, like I said, we got good old Bob, good old Bob that he's just trying to figure all types of stuff out. Oh, and also can't forget Valentina, the one that's been slowly bringing them together ever since the start of this saga. So I immensely enjoyed this. Action scenes were great, character development was good, uh, and also left us with knowing what else we're going to get for the future. Gave us more answers than I expected. What did you think, King?
Man, this movie for me personally was a 10 out of 10. I enjoyed the balance of action, realism to the comedy that they allowed to us to have in that. This movie really, really focuses heavy on depression and mental health issues and how these characters are dealing with their own traumas in their own lives. We kind of open up the film with Yelena, you know, almost where it looks like she's, you know, gonna do something dramatic to herself. and jumps off of a building, which you and I were discussing is the second tallest building in the world, and she actually did that stunt practically. But
Yeah.
Yelena says, you know, she's talking about her depression and talking about feeling empty, or she's just bored. And little moments like that is what the movie gave you, moments of very real issues that people all have, and these real people, and then also some really great comedy. You brought up John Walker and having him back, and how amazing it is to see U.S. Agent back on screen. A super complicated character, but something that they did really well in this movie is they would not get off that man's buns. I mean, they were roasting him every single second they could, and every character did it. It was great to see Bucky. It was great to see the Red Guardian, who really had a lot of the comedy role in this movie. Um, it was great to see Ghost. What an incredible power set. And then, of course, Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, as she prefers that you say it right. Um, My favorite character and the standout person in this movie that I think we can all agree is Bob. Bob is one of the most complicated villains, anti-hero heroes that I think we've come across in a long time. And with that complication, it makes him very interesting. Um, for those who don't know, I want to add this to the breakdown today. Bob, or the Sentry, is an extremely powerful character. His powers are the energy of a million exploding suns. The Sentry can move at basically the speed of light. He can fly. He has telepathy. He can move into your mind and make you see things. He has laser vision. And unlike other movies, you don't actually see the beams. You see the object that he is heating up or lasering affect, but not the lasers themselves, which I actually think is a great detail. There's a moment in the movie as things kind of get to their apex when they're in Avengers Tower, and the team has to try to fight the Sentry, and there's no chance. I'm going to go on the record and say this here on this podcast. I don't think on the current standings that we have in the Marvel universe, I don't know that there's anybody who could fight the Sentry and win right now. But with that being said, he still is in somewhat control. The worst version of him is the Void. And that's what people should be worried about, because that is what Bob is worried about.
And there he has a reason, and he has a reason to be worried about the void, because once he gets to that place, it's just darkness, it's just emptiness. That is just all he has to do is just wave his hand and you're just gone from existence. And initially you think that when you're gone. This is Disney, and and if they do take you out, it's going to be a big character. It's not going to be just tons of people. So where these people end up going once they get taken by the void, they relive the darkest times of their life. And again, touching on the mental health aspect of everything and depression, that's very heavy, especially for an MCU movie. We've never really tackled something like that. I would say the closest that we've gotten to tackling like dark trauma like that would probably be like something like the Moon Knight series. Just seeing how his personalities for that matter came to be because of the terrible upbringing that he had as a kid. That it kind of mirrors that in a way, but this is more of a not feeling alone and not feeling like you're enough. And the movie really explores those topics in heavy ways, you know, down to Yelena seeing her past in the Red Room, and just seeing the tests that they would have to go through, when it came to timing how fast they can get a gun together, and what would happen to the people who did not win that challenge. Seeing John Walker with his family, and just seeing how toxic the living is with him and his wife and their child. We didn't get to explore every single person's dark thoughts, but I mean we can kind of imagine it, especially with Bucky, Winter Soldier. We already know that he has a lot of dark moments in his past, but it made honestly for me it just made it all the more nice just to see him on this team, because in my opinion he's one of the OG. He's like an OG of, like, not an Avenger, but one of the original members, like, just of the MCU in general. So it was good to see him come back as a congressman of all things, just to see how much he's grown as a person. But yeah, the topics in this movie got pretty dark, but at the same time, again, we still have that lighter tone. MCU is still able to make us laugh when we need to, and I think we got a lot of that, like you mentioned, with Yelena and Ghost making fun of John Walker any chance they get. Yelena being embarrassed by Red Guardian picking her people up in a red limo. You know, like it, just little bits like that made this experience fun for us, instead of just being a dark bummer of a movie, which it was not. Like, you felt bummed out at times, just again because of the subject matter, but it always brought it back with having us know that no matter what, these characters, if even if they don't want to work together, they can work together, and if they need to, they can pull together to stop an unbeatable force. Again, kind of like the Avengers, but as they keep reminding us, they're not the Avengers. Even though the climax of the movie happens in Avengers Tower, even though the action sequences in that battle, in the climax, kind of evoke a lot of the Battle of New York, at least in my opinion. uh they state they are not the Avengers, at least until the end of the film.
Yeah, man. As you just mentioned, the Battle of New York, that was something I wanted to bring up. Um, After, kind of doing some research around, poking around online, and reading some things, what I did notice is they are definitely in New York, in the same place the Battle of New York happened. They were essentially in the same spot on the lower streets and not on the upper streets. So
Yep.
essentially, this group of, let's just call them what they are, the new Avengers, are really following up to be another version of the Avengers before them. And I think Marvel's big message in this movie was nobody in these stories is irredeemable. I think that's one thing that they believed in themselves, that when they all got together, they said, we all have done terrible things and we've all done terrible, have are terrible people. But in fact, they're not. They're complicated people, and everyone has their own checkered past that they look at and are not pleased with themselves. But overall, they were redeemable people. They're people who actually would prefer to be the good guys, less the bad guys. And they showed that when the final battle starts to hit out, and the Sentry is now fully the Void, and he's lost within himself, figuratively and literally. And the team has to come together. And what is the first thing they do? Start saving civilians, start helping people, start saving the people around them in New York. They did not realize it, but they were heroes. They didn't think that because of the things they've done in their lives that they deserved that, but their actions had shown that they are, in fact, heroes. And it's so apropos that they are in Avengers Tower and it's getting a new look and it's getting upgraded, and they'll probably call it the Watchtower, which was Century's tower in the comics, which was actually built on top of and out of Avengers Tower. So it
Right.
really all kind of comes together in a really good way. I think the movie definitely had its serious tones, but did a fantastic job of keeping the comedy, keeping you not feeling uneasy, too sad or downtrodden. You got a nice little laugh in there or something funny. It was a good paced movie with good balance.
Very good balance. I would say it also just showed us how much these characters in the MCU in general has grown. I mean, this is the 36th movie in the MCU, and this is the last movie that we're going to get a Phase 5. And it's a testament to Marvel that we are able to not just have a TV show, but have a movie with all of them being side characters. You know, like the movie kind of questions. You know, like are we dealing with too much? Like is what we're doing is being able to build a new team. Like is this going to actually be able to work in the current setting of the MCU? And I'm proud to say that they made us feel that this actually can work. You know, that all these people that we have seen in previous movies can come together and actually build something new for us as fans to enjoy, because I know for myself I can't wait to see these characters again. Like I already liked them when we first saw them in previous installments in the MCU, but after this movie, now I can't wait to see more of them, and I can't wait to see how they deal with future threats that are coming along the way. I also can't wait to see how they deal with possibly a new team coming our way, which I'll let you explain what I mean by that based off the post credit scene that we got.
Yeah, man, let's kind of just jump right into it. One of the things that happens towards the end of the movie is Yelena decides that she's going to go ahead and face the darkness that is the void and let the void um, take her, essentially turn her into a shadow, if you will. And inside of that, she, like Jay said, has to face her own worst nightmares and her own guilt, her own battles. But she breaks through those glasses. She, and figuratively and literally, breaking through the wall into the next scene, into the next nightmare, into the next thing. But as she got closer and closer and closer to Bob, a beautiful thing happens. The other guys come in to help her. The whole team comes in to help Bob. And Bob is unsure of himself and thinking towards the end, he's thinking he has to fight his anger and his depression and the worst parts of him physically. And I think I whispered this to you in the movie theaters, but what he really needed to do was love himself and understand that the dark portions of himself are a part of him, but they don't have to rule him. And I think that's a good
Right,
metaphor for us as people. Our bad thoughts, our depressions, our anxieties, they are going to be a part of who you are as a person, but they don't have to rule who you are and what you do. And in that, they all had essentially a group hug that let the Sentry and Bob know that as much as he tells himself in his head that he's alone, he's not. There is people who care. There is people who are there for them. And he comes out of it. And essentially, we get towards the end of the film. There is a moment where Valentine Valentina sets them up to introduced them as her new team and essentially says that everything that they just went through and became a team was because of her, which of course we as the viewer know that's a lie. Uh, but then she announces them to the public as the new Avengers. And going forward, this is our latest Avengers team. And a really funny caveat to that is Sam Wilson is also trying to build a team. And we would assume that he is going to be building an Avengers team. And in that post credit scene, we end up seeing the team about 14 months later, a year and some change later. Looks like the Avengers Tower looks nice and it's all pretty and set up, and everyone's got new uniforms and they seem like they're more gelled as a team. And that gets brought up that Sam is going to make a team, and who's going to be the Avengers? Who's going to take the name? Who's going to be the team of superheroes? And I think that's going to tell us a whole bunch of teams. It's going to be a lot of people. What did you think of that post credit scene?
Oh, I absolutely loved it for the mere fact that that post credit scene directly leads us into Phase 6, because the Fantastic Four movie will be starting Phase 6 officially for the MCU. So seeing their ship coming into our orbit and seeing our new Avengers, realize like, oh, this we don't know who these people are. Something's coming. It makes me excited, one, to see like what that dynamic looks like between the Fantastic Four and our new Avengers, just to know, seeing what that conversation looks like. Also, gets me excited just to know and wonder like how they end up here, because we still their movie hasn't come out yet. Obviously, we got a couple more months, but it gets me more excited to see like what happened that's made you guys start to come here now. Like it's exciting, but it also makes me a little nervous considering the threats that they're going to have to face in their movie, being Galactus. So I was immensely excited with the reveal of that, and it had, again, it gave me that Marvel magic again. Just it gave me that feeling of a post credit scene not just being there to be funny, but to give us a hint of what's coming for the future.
Absolutely. That is my favorite part. And I think most viewers' favorite part of Marvel is this interconnected world that they always build, and to see what's going to happen next. What is this building to? The Easter eggs and the breadcrumbs that they leave along the path as we watch. And excuse me, that's a big one. That's a real big one. And I'm excited to see what they're going to do and how the Fantastic Four, Marvel's first family, finally getting introduced properly. What are they going to do? Who are they going to be in this universe? How is it going to work out? And how will they interact? So I think that's a fantastic point. Uh, but today we're all up for time, y'all. We ran out of the old clock. So do me a favor, go down in the comments and tell us what was your favorite parts of the movie. Have you watched it? How many times have you watched it? Like, comment, subscribe, follow us on all social medias. Of course, at Collie Greens TV on all social medias. And we here want to give a big shout out to everyone who's on our TikTok. The TikTok is growing, guys. And we recently had a post that the last time I looked at it was over 160,000 views and over 20,000 likes. We appreciate the support so much. If you're not following us on TikTok, go over there and follow us, engage with us. Let's talk about these movies and what you guys think. And we really appreciate everyone who takes the time to watch this and or interact with your boys. And we'll be back with so much more. So, from us over it here, I want to say thank you. I'm King.
And I'm JC3. Again, guys, thank you for all the support. Thank you for all the likes on Instagram, TikTok. We immensely appreciate it. We love doing this. We just love giving our thoughts and being just good old nerds for you guys. And thank you for allowing us to get our thoughts out. And thank you for just commenting, subscribing. Thank you for everything. We appreciate it. Also, real quick, moment of silence for Taskmaster because Disney did him dirty.
3.5 seconds in the movie.
And then headshot.
And then out. Sorry, Taskmaster. Maybe we'll see you again in the multiverse.
We got to enjoy the people that we got while we're here. That's the takeaway, guys. Don't take anything for granted because you could be done in, like he said, 3.5 seconds. Boom. But thank you, guys. We appreciate you. Stay nerdy, y'all.
Later.